this important question, which even I ask myself every single day, is what next? What is the way forward from here? Right? We're going to ask that question to ourselves. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the art of recruitment. I've been doing recruitment since last 5 years, so this is something which I really would love to talk to you about, right? And would give you certain tips, some ninja tips actually, so that you don't make some mistakes which a lot of candidates are making nowadays in the market. Third important thing is to understand how to behave in the corporate environment. To do or not to do, basically that is the question, is something which we're going to talk about. And the third most important thing, how are we going to do it, is the journey and the case study. We'll talk much about it in the further slides. Yeah. Uh, at any given point of time, after every slide, I will wait for a couple of seconds. If you have any doubts, you will quickly raise your hand and ask me. As you might have seen something called case studies at the end. So this is one to many session, right? I'm one person and you are many. So it will be very difficult for me to interact with you one on one. So there will be certain tips, certain things which I will emphasize on. I would request you to note that things down because at this moment you may not understand the worth of it. But trust me, once you are entering the corporate world, once you wake up the next day of your college and you have maybe you have a job, maybe you don't have a job, those questions, those pointers which we are going to talk about today is actually going to help you a lot, right? And yeah, we have certain role plays and case studies at the end where I would like you to participate. So if you are planning to turn on the meeting and turn off the camera and planning to sleep, may God be with you then. What next, right? This is a question which a lot of you are not asking yourself at this moment, right? Because you scored well in 10th. That was one of your first goals. Done, done and dusted. Your second goal was to score well in 12th and get into a good college. Done, done and dusted. You're in your first year, you're not expected to ask this important question of what next, right? Why do we need to ask this question, right? Let me put it in this way. Or a lot of you might have seen a movie called Alice in Wonderland, right? Um, I have not seen it personally, but there is a particular scene which stays with me, which I read about, was the main protagonist of the movie was actually stuck, was and entering the jungle or was in the jungle and comes a path where there are two ways or two or three ways and she needs to choose which way to go, and she's not sure. So there is a cat sitting actually on the branch of a tree, and she asks the cat that which way should I take. The cat asks, where do you want to go? Alice responds that she doesn't know. Then the cat responds that how does it matter? You take any route. If you don't know what your end goal or your end destination is, how does it matter which road you are taking? That's the exact same thing which struck me really hard, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Ask yourself what next. Note this question down. I'm sure if you start asking it now, maybe it will take, for few it will take a week, for few a month, for few a year, for few more than that, right? But this asking this question is actually important. Why? Asking this question will give you clarity on your priorities. Why is it important? Why priorities are important? Getting your priorities sorted, why is it important? Is the question you need to ask yourself right now. Right? A lot of you might be thinking at this moment that right after graduation, I'll get into a job so that I can support my family financially. Good, all the best. A lot of you are thinking that I will go for an MBA because you feel the graduation degree is not good enough for a job. Good. A lot of you wants to start your family business and just want to join the dad's business and just taking the degree for the namesake. Yeah, good for you as well. And the last thing would be there would be somebody who wants to start their own business, right? That is also okay. But getting that priority sorted, that what exactly is my priority, getting that thing sorted at this stage is important, because your priority is actually going to help you set up your goals. Maybe not a long term goal, maybe a short term goal. Not having a goal is okay, right? Not having a long term goal is actually okay, but not having short term goals is a big loss. Big thing to worry, because then you're just going with the flow. You will have to accept anything or everything which comes your way, and that's not a very fancy road to take, right? So getting a priority sorted is important for short term and long term goals, because this is where you will ask this question: what next, right? We'll uh, we'll we'll move on now, but here I would like to share my example that there was, when I was in my college, the company named Wipro came in, and they had a campus placement at that time. And I was someone who has never been out of Mumbai. I've hardly been to my village, which is in Gujarat, Kutch. So I've been there and come back. I have not seen any part of India apart from that. I've never stayed away from my family as well. But when Wipro came in, they had an opportunity with, they had a 3 years of service agreement. The job was in Bangalore. I cannot come back before 3 years. And they were offering me an executive postgraduate diploma from Symbiosis Pune. At that moment of time, my priority was not to get an MBA or not to learn more at that stage, not to go for higher education, but to earn as much as I can, start earning, for my family, become a strong financial pillar. So that was my priority, which helped me took that decision. So just imagine a guy who has never been out of Mumbai, never stayed away from the family, went there, survived for 3 years, came back to Mumbai, and is still thriving. Right? Not an easy road, not an easy journey, but when you have your priorities sorted, these kind of decisions become easy. Keep that in mind. Right? Let's talk about the journey. Here, what do I mean by the journey? So, journey is about you guys now. Firstly, I don't want you to think that you are in your first year. I want you to think that you are just in your final year now, right? And from in the month of Jan and Feb, the companies are going to be here for campus placements, or there are going to be a lot of hiring in the month of January and February. How are you going to prepare yourself for that, right? How? See, I'm not someone who don't want you to enjoy your college life. I want you to do it, but I want you to do it the right way, right? Things which are going to help you. So let's see. So there's a company which is going to come in the month of January. Not one. There are many companies which are going to come in the month of Jan and Feb for in your college for hiring. How do you prepare yourself for an interview? Right. First thing, identifying the opportunity is important. How do you do that? How do you identify an opportunity? Right. How many of you have heard of terms called LinkedIn, Internshala, FirstNaukri.com? Raise your hand if you have heard something, any one of this. So except LinkedIn, if you have heard of something called Internshala or FirstNaukri.com, please raise your hand. Arun sir, just let me know if you're able to see any hands up.
Sunny, there are lots of hands, so I think many people are well
Wow,
versed in.
perfect. I'm really, really happy for that. And we'll talk about how to use those platforms for this thing. I'm sure all of you might have heard about something called LinkedIn, right? How many of you knew, sir? Can you tell me how long, like, you give them how much time to prepare? Like, the Sunny Thakkar is coming to the campus.
So
They were aware at least a week back.
actually, I told them in the month of November itself, but they had their internal, so we
Correct.
had to postpone it. So they
Correct.
were informed long back.
Correct. Okay. A lot of people who raised their hand that they knew LinkedIn, right? All of you knew that there was somebody called Sunny Thakkar is going to come on LinkedIn, is going to come for this session, right? None of you actually tried to, go and search about who this guy is. My idea here is not to feel that, that I am not important and that's the reason you didn't search me. That's not the idea here. I'm important, not important, doesn't matter. I'm giving the session now, and you are sitting here listening to me, right? What is important here is that you knew somebody is going to come here. Were you keen enough to know who that person is? Were you keen enough to connect with that person even before he or she came to your campus? Right? This is the difference of knowing a platform and actually working on it. LinkedIn is actually a social media platform. I'm not sure. I'm again, I have not seen any requests coming in. You might have seen my profile. I have not seen that notification as well. Why that is important, right? Connecting with somebody. Just imagine if you would have connected with me, and this session I would have been taking your name. That somebody from AB, someone name this. has actually connected with me. That name would have stayed with me. And if in going future somewhere, if we come for campus placement, I would remember that name. This is the importance of networking. We'll talk about that as well. That is covered in this slide, so don't worry. Now let's talk about the identifying the opportunity concept. First, college placements. Guys, getting a college placement is a boon actually. You save yourself from a lot of trouble because the market outside is not is not easy. It's very competitive. People there are going to, you know, question your caliber. You will start losing your confidence after a particular time. You will be a headless horse, I would say, right? Getting a college placement is actually, it's actually a boon. It gives you a head start which you need, right? Maybe if you have taken up a job, maybe you don't like that job. Maybe you don't want to do that job. But if you work for a year or two, you become an experienced candidate. You are not a fresher anymore, right? The opportunities for you changes. I will show you how the job description for a fresher and a job description for an experienced person, there is tremendous difference in that. But that gives you the head start that you need, that put you one step ahead of all the people who are already searching for the job, right? Any job. Second thing, I will tell you a little bit about the employee referrals. I'm not sure a lot of you might have already heard about this term in your book, but this thing is real, right? Being in touch with your seniors will always help you. A lot of your seniors may refer you in the company which you are working. A lot of your seniors will give you, may provide you the guidance which you need. So why employee referrals are important? Because a lot of companies are looking, trust me, I've worked with 3 companies in last 5 years, and in all the companies, employee referrals was one of the strongest team which they had. Because whenever there is a job opening, first they send it to the internal employees that this is a job opening. Do you know somebody? Then they send it to the recruiters, and then they go out for the market. So this is how there is a shift in the recruitment. You need to understand that. And that is the reason connecting with a lot of people on LinkedIn is important, because that's what networking is. So if you know 10 people in 10 different companies and you are in good terms with that, any opportunity in any one of those companies, the person can refer you in that company. Now, getting a job is not important at that stage. Getting an opportunity to give your interview at that stage is important. And that's where employee referral comes into picture. And that is why connecting with a lot of people on LinkedIn is important. Okay. Then comes the social media platform. As I mentioned, I have already talked about it. LinkedIn, why it is important, how it is important. You all know, you feel that you know the tool. Think again. Think again. There's so many things LinkedIn can offer, which I'm not sure how many of you are actually utilizing it. Right? I We can have a very detailed session on how to create a LinkedIn profile, how to reach out to recruiters, what is the professional language there used, how you can use LinkedIn for your benefit. We can have that's a completely different and vast topic which we can talk about later. Understanding the job description. Here I'm going to give you again a secret tip. This is something which we do, a lot of us do, right? When we are looking for a job, what we do is we go through the job description. A lot of students do this mistake, right? They don't go through the job description. They don't know what the company is looking for. They just go for the designation, right? And that's where you fail. A job description will always have 2 things. First thing, your expectations, the company's expectations versus the experience, right? Now, job description for a person who is a year or two old in the system is also going to be almost the same. That some basic knowledge of Excel, some basic knowledge of PowerPoint, these kind of things may come up there. Now, understanding that why it is important, because based on the job description, you can prepare for the interview. You can speak the same language which is mentioned in the job description, right? That is the reason understanding a job description is a very underrated thing. We all feel that our simple English है समझ जाएंगे. Trust me, you fall flat on your face if you think that. Thoroughly reading the job description, tweaking your resume based on the job description is an art. I know people who are doing a particular role, one particular role, but they have four different resumes, right? Why? Because each for for example, if I'm a campus recruiter, there's one of my resumes of a campus recruiter that I hire people from. I hire freshers. My other one is marketing because I have worked in marketing for a year, campus marketing. So my other resume is focused only on talking about marketing. My third resume is only focused towards reporting MIS because that's one of my, again, a part of my role, but it's a different resume. I'm just giving you an example. It's not, maybe it's not the case, maybe it is. But yeah, having multiple resumes. Why is it important? Because when you apply for the job, your resume should stand out as one of the most relevant resume. That doesn't mean that I copy paste the job description. Now, this is a very important tip, guys. A lot of people out there will not tell you this. Your college or your curriculum is not going to cover this. So this is something I'm telling you from a personal experience. Yeah. You can make a note of it if you find it interesting. Building a resume, guys, you have not achieved a lot in your life. First, accept that, keep that in mind. Your resume should not be 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages long. Trust me. I have met vice president or VP level, I have seen their resumes, it's not more than 2 pages. You are a fresher. As compared to them, your resume should be half a page. But that's actually not acceptable and not the case. But what are the things which a recruiter look for when they look for a fresher's resume, right? Very importantly, your academic score matters. Yes, correct. But at the same time, your extracurricular activities should stand out there. That is what we look for, right? So now, after understanding these points, you have got a sense of how do you prepare for your interview, right? Now let's talk about what are the different types of interviews we have. The first one, the traditional old school interview, which 80% of the population is using now, right? Traditional interview basically means a one-on-one session, excuse me, maybe in person, maybe on a call or something, anything. Like it's a series of interviews, so not more than two or three interviews in a row, right? This happens, this is a very genuine, when the multiple interviews happens with a lot of experienced people. For freshers, it's hardly one or two interview, right? There's the first level and then there's the second level interview. Traditional interview, how do you crack it? Now that's this these are the tips which you can see, the bullet points, make a note of it. This is where we are going to talk about. Traditional interviews are nothing but one-on-one discussion about your experience, what you have done and what you can achieve. That's in a nutshell what a traditional interview is. Trust me, guys, I've not seen what your curriculum is. I don't know what your book says. This is my definition and my understanding from my experience from what I've done in recruitment. It's basically a one on one discussion about what you have achieved, what you can achieve. That's it. How do you crack it? I'll give you a very interesting example. Okay, there was one particular candidate who was reaching out to me on LinkedIn for a fresher opportunity with one of my company, right? And the person was reaching out to me on LinkedIn every day for 10 days continuously straight. The person was messaging me, asking me that, sir, do you have any opening? Do you have any opening? Do you have any opening? What I did was I decided to call him up and speak to him and understand why he's so keen, why is he following up so rigorously. Because there at this moment there is no opportunity, but it may come in future. So I just wanted to speak to him and understand what is the reason behind him being so curious. When I called him up, he was sounding very excited. "Sir, I'm really happy you called and all this thing." Well and good. I asked him only one question, one single question, and I rejected him on that question because he was not able to answer. Was who's the CEO of the company which I'm working for? So I'm not going to name the company, but yeah, who is the CEO of the company? The candidate who was so excited to join the company, who was so looking forward or keen to work with us, didn't know the CEO of the company. I'm not saying knowing the name of the CEO of the company is important. In every interview, you will just highlight who's the CEO. No, that's not the case. Knowing a CEO means that you have spent some time reading about the company, some time on Wikipedia. Right? If I have to tell you that, tomorrow we are planning to go for Goa trip, right? Your industrial visit for 2021 is in Goa. Just imagine how excited you're going to be. Or maybe let me change the place from Goa to Chirapunji. I'm not sure you've heard of this place or not. Anyways, Chirapunji. What you will do is, the first thing which you're going to do is, you're going to go and Google about what that place is, what are the things to go around, what are the best eating joints, right? Few of me, even go and post it on Instagram that we are going there. Please, any suggestions, right? That's a in thing to do now. Nevertheless, you will do so much of research on your fun, on your pleasure trip. Just imagine how serious you should be on your career trip, right? Knowing about the company actually helps you a lot. Second important thing, right? Be careful about your, now here, this all is a sub point of one very important thing: selling yourself as a brand. Selling yourself. Yeah, you heard me right. But don't take me in a wrong context, or don't quote me in a wrong context that Sunny was saying that you should sell yourself. Please don't do that. I'll be in a lot of trouble. Selling yourself as a brand is important. Why? Because here, when we come to hire fresher, what a recruiter see is all the candidates who are in their final year, all of them are freshers for me. When you hire an experienced person, you know that this person is specializing in accounts, this person is specializing in in MIS, this person is specializing in Power BI or data analytics. This is how they stand out. This is what the difference of an experienced person is. But when you come and hire a fresher, you paint all of them the same color. All are freshers. How do you stand out? How do you sell yourself as a brand? We are going to talk a lot about verbal, non-verbal communication, which is a part of it, right? Um, Guys, I remember when I was in my college, a lot of students came from a vernacular medium. No offense, but their English was not that great. It's obvious because their entire childhood they have studied a particular language which is not English, and that's the reason their English was not great, right? And that became the bottleneck for them to get anywhere in the job. They were not able to get the right kind of job. They were not able to, get out in the market, go for higher studies. They were not able to do that either. They were struggling. So one thing which I tell everyone is that you have come this way till you have achieved this, this much with that. If you have to achieve more, you will have to change. Remember, there's a saying, right? If you change nothing, nothing changes. Something like that. So you will have to change now. This is the right time. And it is coming from a guy who used to be nervous. I used to be nervous or scared to go to McDonald's and order a McVeggie or a McAloo Tikki burger because I will have to speak in English. That is what that is who I was, right? And it changed me as a person, and that's the reason I'm here, right? Second, what do you mean by MTI? So MTI is nothing but mother tongue influence. It's again under the same bracket of selling yourself as a brand, right? MTI is a very very common mistake a lot of people do, and it is very evident when you are giving a one-on-one interview. MTI stands for mother tongue influence. This is something. This is, I would say, your brain is playing with you, is becoming your enemy. What do you mean by mother tongue influence? So just to give you an example, if I start talking like this, yeah, it sounds funny. Why? Because the accent or the tone which I took was very much was influenced by my mother tongue. So it's a very common mistake which a lot of people do unknowingly. They don't know there would be certain words. Few people do it for certain words. Few people do it for the entire sentence. Or when they speak, they sound like that you are speaking a different language and not English, just because of the tone. And a lot of people are getting rejected just because of that. I have rejected a lot of people on that. So MTI, working on your MTI is also equally important because from your childhood you have been speaking the same tongue. No offense, your mother tongue is really great, but the corporate world demands English, right? You will have to learn English. That's how it is. Yeah. Third thing which a recruiter checks from you is, do you have any scope of learning, right? When you're trying to sell yourself as a brand, don't sell too much, or else the person will feel that you are the best. You feel that you are the best and you don't need anything else. Selling yourself is important, right? But there should always be a scope of learning. It should be a balanced approach. That I'm good in whatever I'm doing right now, but I have a long way to go. This is how the balanced approach works, right? Understand that. There's a very thin line. We can talk in detail if you have any questions on that after this slide. Panel interview. Now, here I'm talking about one candidate to many panels. This usually happens. It happened with me as well when I was in one of you know, when I was appearing for college placements when I was in SK Somak College, right? This is again a very interesting example here. Is um, one of the candidate actually we remember was we were interviewing for from an MBA college, and this was a panel interview. I was part of one of the panel, and we got to know that the candidate is already placed with some other company, and he's still here appearing for our company. So when he asked him that what is the reason, what is we first asked him what is the motive behind joining, sitting here giving an interview. Why do you want to join us? He gave us a good story that the role is good, the company is rich, and all this thing. He didn't mention a word about the pay package or the CTC which we were offering. We were getting into the conversation, and later one question, I directed him a one question that you are already holding an offer. Why are you sitting here? Right. The answer to that question, the first instance or the first reaction of that candidate was for the CTC. You're offering a higher package, right? And the difference between the package the company A and what we were offering was hardly of 10,000 rupees per annum per year. If you divide it by 12, you will know it's not more than 2,000 to 3,000 per month or something, even less than that. Just imagine that straight away gave us a hint that this candidate is just here for money. So if there's any other company who's coming in and offering even 5,000 more, the candidate will not join us. He will join that company. This is how we evaluate candidates. Panel interview is all about that. It's all about sticking to your story. Always sticking to your story. So either you have to be an exceptionally well liar, where you remember what you have lied about and you know each and everything, all the details, or you have to be honest. The most easiest way, right? This is what panel how this is how you crack the panel interview. Only one tip which I can give you here. There are many things mentioned here. We'll talk about it. One very important thing is stick to your story. If you have said a particular thing, stick to that. If you have said it by mistake, it's okay. Justify it. If you're not able to, accept that. That's sorry, sir. It was a mistake. I might have said this thing, but I meant this. Accepting that is also important, right? I mentioned a term called vanilla points. Again, vanilla points are given by now. First thing is knowing about the company. When you go and Google about the company and you Wikipedia, you got the idea of it, what exactly the company is, when was it formed, who was the CEO. The second thing is knowing the recent news. We all know how to use Google. If you type a particular company, there is a tab, images, videos, and all this thing. There's a tab called news as well. If you click on news, just have a glance through it. You will get the top 5 or top 4 news related to that particular company. Just read the headlines. I'm not asking you to go in details because again, you may not have that much of time, but just read the headlines. You will get a sense of it, right? That indicates that the candidate has done a thorough search or a thorough study of the company he or she is going to join, and that means he's interested. Third thing is group discussion. Group discussion, straight away, one word, one tip: confidence. Confidence is going to help you stand out in this. If you lack confidence, work on it. If you feel that your communication is weak, work on it. Unless and until you have good confidence, you cannot crack group discussion round. You're competing with 15 people. A lot of you would be known faces, your friends maybe, right? But all of you are competing. How do you stand out there? Confidence, right? I've coined a term here called active listening. I'm sure you might have heard this theoretically in your books. It's something which you apply in the real life as well. Active listening is a point where you're just not listening to understand, or to just to grasp. You're going to take that and you're going to counter it in real time. You're questioning them in real time. Easiest way to do it: take a notebook and pen. When the topic is given, you will write 10 pointers or top 5 or top 10 things which comes into your head related to that topic. And whenever the session starts, and if somebody else has covered that point already, chalk that out. Whatever you're doing in the notepad, you have to do it here. Start with Notepad, it will slowly move here. Okay, that's how you crack a GD round. Skype and online interview, yeah, the in thing now, right? Thanks to COVID and thanks to the upcoming new virus, I feel the next season is also going to be like this, right? I really wish I would have been giving this session in real time in the classroom, where I would be able to see you very clearly. Nevertheless, thanks to the Skype online interview, this is the most underrated, or I would say, underappreciated thing. Like Skype is something which people take it for granted. They feel that, अरे ठीक है, सिर्फ laptop खोल के camera ही on करना है. That's not the case. You have to be prepared. Right? You know how clumsy this entire season, this entire campus recruitment season for me has gone on online. So I've been sitting here and interviewing a lot of candidates. And every time I ask a candidate for their ID to show that you are the same person, 90% of the cases they will have to, sir, please, sir, wait, sir, will go and get it. That gives a bad impression. And any candidate who was able to, show it to me right away, the ID card, it created a straight impact that, yeah, the candidate was ready. So very simple messages. Be prepared for this, right? Understand your camera angle. Where do you look better? Understand where the light is coming from, right? It should not be from behind. Your face is not going to be visible to that person. And it's irritating that you are speaking to somebody who is, I cannot see anything but just a shadow. It's very annoying. So keep these things, small things in mind, right? You know, how the person is going to look at you. Here, voice modulation and hand gestures are going to help you a lot. The reason is because this is the only part. This is the only part which you can see right now. I might be sitting in my shorts right now, very comfortable. Doesn't matter, but you are seeing only this much, right? And that's the same thing which is going to happen with you when you're giving an interview. Correct? Here in this space, move your hands as much as you can. Because if I've been sitting here and giving the interview like this, sir, hi, sir, my name is Sunny, sir. It looks uncomfortable. The person who's taking the interview becomes uncomfortable. So understand this thing importantly, right? Keep a smile, constant smile on your face. Use your gestures. But again, if you're smiling, don't smile too much. The person will think you're laughing at him. If you're trying to make an eye contact, look in the camera. That's how you make an eye contact here. Okay. Any questions on this particular slide? I would love to take that. I will take few seconds here. Any questions if you have? Because after that, I'm going to give you certain tips from my end, which can actually help you prepare better for the interviews.
Guys, keep the session conversational. Interact as far as possible. You can ask your queries, and Sunny is there. He's an expert in recruiting people, particularly freshers at Pan India level. So whatever query you have, please direct to him, and he's the right person. He can answer you.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Hi. Who's this?
Hi, sir. Aditya here.
Yeah, Aditya.
So I just had an issue with if I have some distortion in the network issues, how should I get back to the person who is taking the interview?
Sure. So there's always a provision for that. So now here, either you are giving a campus recruitment, like as a fresher, or you're giving an recruitment externally where you got the job through a reference. In both the cases, you will have one go-to person. In the internal case, you will have the college placement officer or maybe a coordinator assigned to it. And in the other case, you will have a recruiter assigned to that, to coordinate your entire interview. The person who might have sent you who might have sent you the meeting invite, the interview invite, right? So in either of the cases, you will have to reach out to that person immediately because that person is acting as a mediator between the panel and you. So that's how you can convey it, right? Trust me,
Sure,
I
got it.
got it. Great. So
Yeah.
Skype interviews requires a lot of patience. Trust me. This entire season, the only thing that's just been tested is my patience, because we have taken all the interviews online, and this is a very common thing to happen. Sir, can you hear me? Sir, I can't see you. Sir, I can hear you. Very common thing to happen. It happens with a lot of candidates, but candidates may panic. The recruiter will not, because they know they have been doing this. अरे हाँ अभी network खराब है, थोड़ी देर में हो जाएगा. So they know what the condition is. So don't worry, don't panic in those situations. Have a lot of patience, because it has happened. Like, after 3 or 4 times your network is getting disrupted and you finally get connected, you are so tired, mentally exhausted, that you don't, you can't give your best there. So that's where, practice a lot of patience. You need to keep that energy up. Just keep that in mind while giving the Skype or the online interviews, right? Any other question? We can take one more question here and then we'll move on.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Sir, I'm Devam. So I had
Dev.
a
Okay.
Devam.
Devam. Okay, please.
I had a doubt. Suppose your resume needs to be multi, as in should cover all your strengths or particular to a job designation. Suppose if a guy is applying for a marketing job,
Hmm.
should he also write out all his other strengths based, like if he's good at accounting, or should it only be, or his resume should only talk about the marketing experience?
Great. Now, when you talk about strengths, a lot of people tend to make a list of 15, 30, 15, 20 items. That should not be the case, right? Your strengths should try to keep it as crisp as possible. 5 to 8 is a standard thing. A lot of people mention good confidence, good account, good presentation skills, and all this thing. That's good, okay, but not exceeding 5 to 8. That's your key strengths. The reason I will tell you about that as well. But yeah, to answer the question which you are asking, very simple. Keep everything in. Keep everything in. If you feel that in a marketing job accounts is not related, remove that particular accounting term. Remove that one particular line. But if you're confused about any strength, put it in the last. So it should start with, if the marketing job is there, your first strong skill should be, I'm a presentable, good presentation skills or good communication skills, followed by, you have done a marketing job or something, you have done some internship in marketing and you are creative person or something like this. So your first 3 or 4 strengths should relate to the job, and the other jobs are the other strengths should be the pointers which you are not sure about whether it is related to this job or not. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on. Don't worry, guys. We'll have at the end. We'll have a lot of time to discuss about a lot of questions. These are certain pro tips which I would like to give it to you from my end, from my personal experience, and if you can keep it with you, it can actually help you a lot. Right. First thing, I'm really emphasizing a lot on something called know about your company. The reason I'm doing it is because it is important. Trust me, I have eliminated a lot of students. A lot of recruiters have rejected a lot of candidates just because they didn't know about the company. Right. Second thing, get clarity on your roles and responsibilities. Ask questions to the recruiters. Just like you guys ask, you question me certain things, you got more knowledge. So just imagine, it's just like the more you poke, the more information you get. But you need to know where to stop, right? If you keep poking again and again and again and again, that shows that you are unsure, you are insecure about this job or something. That gives a wrong impression also. 1 or 2 questions should be there to the recruiter. That shows that you're confident enough and you are really interested to know about this job. Ask anything. Now, again, when I say anything, it should not be something which is already covered in the pre-placement talk. It should not be something which is already covered in the job description. If you're not clear about a particular point mentioned in the job description, ask the person that, okay, what exactly does this mean? Can you tell me a little bit about my role? Tell me a little bit about what will my day look like, a regular day would look like in your company. These kinds of questions you can ask. Proofread your resume. A very, very, very common mistake among freshers, right? I've interviewed candidates, like there are 6 candidates I've interviewed. Out of 6, 5 of them have the same resume format, same content, same strengths, same weaknesses, same about me. The only thing which is changing is their academic scores, right? And when I'm interviewing all 5 of them, I know which actually is the person who has made this resume and who are the other friends who have copy pasted it. So this is a very, very silly mistake or a common mistake which a lot of candidates are doing nowadays. Don't do that. Your resume should be a personal thing. It should be drafted personally, because each and every line you have mentioned in the resume, you should know that very thoroughly, because you're going to get questioned on that. For a fresher, resume matters a lot, because anything which you mention which is not fitting in your story in the resume, you're going to get questioned on that immediately. Trust me. Practice makes it permanent. I'm not saying perfect. It's okay. Perfect is something which we all want to achieve. Perfect is a very subjective term, but practice makes it permanent. Practice in front of mirror, practice it with your friends, practice it with your dog. Whatever you want to do it. The more you practice, the better you are in something. Just remember that. Focus equally on non-verbal communication. We'll talk again, as I mentioned, we'll talk about the non-verbal communication skills, majorly about body language, right? I'm not going to get much detail in that. I am just going to give you a gist of it, why body language is important, how important that is going to be when you are selected or maybe you're sitting for an interview, why smiling is important, why too much smiling is bad, why making an eye contact is important, and making it staring too much in the eye can make you look creepy. So why these things are important is something which we need to understand. There's always a thin line between being confident and being overconfident. So understand these things. That is what I mean by focus equally on non-verbal communication skills. How do you stand out as an exceptional candidate? This is the same thing which I mentioned, that recruiters usually paint all the freshers as freshers. How do you stand out, right? How many of you, like, LinkedIn provides certification? I'm sure a lot of you know that, right? There is 1 month free subscription, just like Netflix. How many of you have actually enrolled for that or were planning to? I'm sure there would be few hands which are up. Good for you. If it's not, guys, LinkedIn, Coursera, Udemy, Upgrad, anything you open will at least have 1 month free or something like this concept coming in, just to gain more subscribers or more customers. Use it. If you're not sure about which are the skills which you need to do, please reach out to me or please reach out to Arun sir. I can help you, guys. I will give you certain tips. I have written this thing somewhere. I will give you certain tips. I will post it in the chat here, that which are the certifications which you can do. All right, that can actually help you. So how do you stand out as an exceptional candidate? First thing is certification, very clearly, because all of you have mentioned your academic scores, your hobbies, your strengths and weaknesses. But here I have done something extra. Certifications stands out. First thing. Second thing which stands out, I have been part of a committee. Extracurricular activity is the thing. Right? Aparna ma'am was telling that he has seen us living and enjoying the college life. The reason why? Because I was part of the cultural committee. For 3 years, I was part of the cultural committee. I was a joint secretary in my final year of the Utkarsh festival, which we have. So we've enjoyed a lot. And trust me, as compared to what I've learned in the CF or in the college, I prefer what I've learned in the CF. It has changed my personality. It has given me a lot of confidence, and that's what you need in life, right? So participate in extracurricular activity. I'm not saying go and join CF right away. Do anything you like, but please do it. Those things also stand out in your resume, that what you have done in a particular, like you have been a PR head or a marketing head for this thing, or you have been part of the marketing team or the PR team. These things help. Seventh important thing which we are going to talk about is the STAR model. Guys, this is something which I'm not sure it's covered in your curriculum or not, but this is a very very important model which we have, and we actually, a lot of recruiters are looking forward to that. Storytelling is now the in thing in recruitment as well. So how do you tell your story? Just keep this thing in mind. STAR: situation, task, action, and results. You're going to first describe what the situation is, what situation was, or whatever the situation is. What was the problem statement or the task which was expected to do? Third thing would be the action which you took, or maybe as a team you took that, and what was the result? So every single time, now this is something which will require practice. Okay, many times students, give you, instead of STAR, they will give you SAR or TAR. They won't give you either situation or task or maybe action or maybe results. Recruiters are well trained to identify what is that they have missed, and they will question you on that. So practice yourself with this. STAR model is very important. Try telling stories or try conveying anything to anyone in this concept. Give them a situation, that what was the situation, the context of that situation, what was the difficulty, what was the action, and what was the result, right? You can make a note of it. This is actually a very important model which we are practically using in the corporate world. So if you're well versed with it, it's going to help you a lot in cracking interviews. Eighth important thing is post-interview follow-ups. Guys, this is a very, now here I'm going to tell you a very interesting story about my journey, how I got into Wipro. I was selected in campus, but there's a very very interesting story behind that. So the company came in the month of January, and we had our interviews, and interview was done, and there was one final round which was remaining, which was a presentation round, which was scheduled on 7th of March, right? And we got a mail about that on the 2nd of March. Me being me, I didn't, being a student, basically, I never checked my mails. I've never taken Gmail seriously. And on 6th March early morning, I got a call from one of my friends that, hi Sunny, hi, the presentation ho gaya kya? I was taken aback. It's like, कौन सा presentation? Right? College तो अब हो गया, मतलब college में तो कोई presentation नहीं है. It's like Wipro का presentation है. It's like, कौन सा presentation? And that's how I realized there is a mail which was sent to me on 2nd of March, which I opened on 6th of March. And I actually sat the whole day, the overnight, I worked on the presentation, and eventually I was able to crack it. But yeah, that was a big mistake which I did. Could have done better. I don't regret that. I got the job. That was the ultimate goal at that time. But I could have done better if I would have seen the mail on time. So checking your mails every, like, have a schedule. 11 a.m. in the morning and 11 p.m. in the night, you will check your mails. That's it. Just keep doing that, because a lot of stupid mail comes on Gmail. I know Swiggy, Zomato, a lot of these things are coming in, but there are very important mails as well which are coming in. Right. In the further slides, we are going to talk about the email etiquettes. Second thing, post-interview follow-ups. Now again, following up with the placement officer is a different thing. Following up with a recruiter is a very different thing. You will have to be very structured in what how you follow up with the recruiter. You cannot just call him, budge him, or message him every single now and then, right? Very important lesson: connect with your recruiter on LinkedIn. Go and search for the recruiter, connect with him or her. That actually gives you, again, certain vanilla points, which a lot of students will not do. So keep that in mind. Uh, Again, these are just few tips which you can keep after an interview, right? Moving on. So you got the job, right? You wanted a job, you got the job. Your first task as your job is to assign a particular job to their two new interns who are working with you. Your job is to assign a particular task to either one of these interns. So you have two interns with you, right? Who are you going to assign the task to? Again, there's no need to answer. We all love Mr. Bean, but when it comes to getting the job done, we all know what Mr. Bond is capable of, right? That's what I'm going to talk about. How do you create your first impression? Guys, there are many theories, many research which has proven that, that your first 7 seconds is the time when you're going to get judged the most. And there is a possibility within those 7 seconds you have not even uttered a single word. Still, there is a perception which is formed, and about you in maybe somebody else's mind, or maybe if you're in a group discussion, the others are thinking the way you're talking to your colleague is going to create an impression on all of them. So that's where creating first impression is very important. How do you do that? Verbal and non-verbal communication. Understand what body language is, how important body language is. Understand what role gestures play, right? If you're going and meeting them for the first time, you give your hand first, not wait for them to raise, give you the hand. Holding the door while they are entering somewhere. If you're walking with a female or male, doesn't matter. If you're entering the meeting room, holding the door there. Making sure that you're looking attentive. Your grooming matters. So these are the things which actually play a very important role. I'll give you one example that when I was working with Wipro in Bangalore, what happened was the campus used to be very huge. So from the gate, it used to take at least 2.5 to 3 minutes to reach our desk, our conference room, basically our conference room and our floor, right, where we used to work. So there was a time when when multiple training and placement officers used to come and meet us to talk about the campus placements and all these things. So every time whenever they used to come, I used to insist on going and meeting them personally. When this was something which was recommended to me by the global head, I was in a very good terms with him, and he said that you should be the one going and receiving them every single time. I asked him why, so he said you will understand. He was trying to be, he has his own ways of doing these things, but I understood that he wants me to learn something here, so I went ahead. First time when I took that person and came, it was utter silence for 2.5 and 3 minutes. And when the person came in, I was able to see he was not very comfortable in those conference room and talking to people, right? Second time, the same thing happened where we just talked about good morning, how are you? Good, good. Third time, we talked about small talks. We had small talks. I asked him about, did you find any traffic, or how is the weather? Did you enjoy this? When is your flight? When are you flying back? Where are you staying? How are you put up here? And you should try the food there. You should try the food here. These things we started talking about. Now, this is a person who is, double my age, but still I started talking to him. Making small talks is actually going to help you a lot in creating your first impression. So this all is completely part of verbal and non-verbal communication. If I have to chalk it down, your body language, your gestures, your small talks, these are the things which are going to matter. The way you greet that person, how genuine you are being. Like, people understand when they're speaking to you, they know that you are not being genuine, that you're smiling, but you hate that person. That should not happen, right? You should understand that thing. Grooming, why it is important. Like, when I'm saying grooming, I don't want you to be I don't want you to imagine everything to be in formals 24, all the time. Your office, you are in formals. No, I'm not expecting you to do that. I'm not expecting you to be clean shaved all the time. That's not the thing now, right? Every company has their own policies in terms of, clothing, what the candidates or the people can wear to work, office wear or something like that. They call something like that. Following that policy is important, but at the same time, understanding that how you look is going to create the first impression is also important. Now, again, I'm not questioning that, I'm not saying that you should wear the LP ka jeans, Peter England shirt, Arrow ka coat. No, don't do that. If you're wearing something simple, like, all of you are already aware who Mark Zuckerberg is, right? The founder of the Facebook. He always wear a gray t-shirt. A lot of you have already might have read the articles about why he does that, because he wants to save time. But just imagine, he's always wearing a gray t-shirt. Now, again, that also is a statement in grooming, because at this moment in this session, we are talking about him, not anyone else. This is what grooming creates an impact. This is how grooming is important. So if you're wearing three clothes, it's okay, but wear it efficiently. Make sure those are clean. Make sure that you look presentable at any given point of time. You should not have messy hair, long beards. Doesn't look good. You're coming to office to work, you should look like a professional. Understand that. Third thing, networking. I've already mentioned a little bit about small talks, why it is important, right? Networking, again, it can be in person, can be online. So now the things are moving online. So I already talked about how you can connect with people on LinkedIn. Go check their profile, send a connection request. If there, and there's an option where you can follow the person, not even send the connect, just follow the person, so that all the posts the person is going to post, you will be getting that notification. Networking is also very important when you meet that person, because here, when you're meeting that person, you're creating the first impression. Being sticking to that for a long time is important. Moving on, talking about etiquettes, email etiquettes, right? Now, again, you have created a first impression. It has been a month. It has been 10 days that you have already joined the company. Now, there are few things which you need to keep in mind. Again, here I'm going to give you certain pro tips from my personal experience, right? Again, it's your choice to take it or leave it. First thing, there's a concept called 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week theory. Very simple. It's applicable for mails. Whenever you get an email, you should acknowledge that mail within an hour's time. Within an hour, you should at least acknowledge that mail. Just reply to that. Hi, sir. Greetings. I received your mail. Please give me some time to come back to you on this. You are acknowledging that mail. The person knows that, okay, you have read the mail. You're working on it. Because this is not like WhatsApp. You don't get double clicks. You don't get the blue tick to know whether अच्छा person ने पढ़ लिया है. मतलब कुछ ना कुछ तो हो जाएगा. ऐसा नहीं होता. Mails create a lot of uncertainty. It's old school. It creates a point where you don't know that the person has read the mail or not. So that uncertainty actually sometimes are not good. Second thing, 1 day. If you have responded in 1 hour and you are not able to find the solution in 1 day, respond to that saying that, sir, the issue is going to require more time than we thought. So please give me some time. We'll come back to you as soon as we are getting, we are going to resolve this. And within a week, make sure that any issue, any problem should be resolved within a week's time. Right? I understand there will be certain exception cases where it is pending with an approval for somebody and all this thing, but try this theory. 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week. Please try this. Second important concept is three golden rule, the CPC. Very simple: context, problem statement, and closure. Your mails should not be more than 3 lines. I'm not talking about dear sir, good morning, greetings from and this thing and thank you and regards. I'm not considering that. But your entire mail should not be more than 3 lines. Keep that in mind. You are not there to write a theory or a literature. You're not doing that. You're not writing letters. It's an email. You have to be crisp, on point. So give you an example. You first give the context that, sir, the reason I was not able to, this is with regards to a particular assignment which I was not able to submit on the given deadline. The problem statement was I was critically ill and I was hospitalized in the college in this particular hospital for this treatment. I got just and the third thing is a closure where you say that I got discharged. Please suggest when can I submit the assignment or what can be done here. So in the third statement, either you close it from your end that this is my suggestion, or you keep it on the other person that please suggest what needs to be done, or you can just close it that thank you, this loop is closed, something like this. This is the 3 lines golden rule. Understand the concept of BCC and CC, right? When you're replying to people, you're keeping somebody in two. Always the person who is going to action or who's going to work on it should be in two. People in CC are just for your information, like just keeping you posted that we are doing this. And BCC is something which you are strictly not allowed to use when you are in corporate world. Please don't do that. A lot of people do this mistake. You can do one thing is you can keep yourself in BCC because here you want to understand whether the mail has delivered or not. So that can be used, but please don't keep anybody else in BCC because that is not an acceptable or an ethical practice. These are few tips about email etiquettes. Telephone etiquettes, again, very simple. Greetings. When you pick up the call, one thing a lot of us are doing, ha, kahan hai? You're not in college anymore. You're not speaking to your friends. Greet them. Hi, sir. Good morning. How are you doing? Second, very important lesson which I've learned and very important thing which I would say is check. What do you mean by check? Always check. Your greetings should always be backed by a statement. Sir, is it a good time to talk? Now, again, you will feel it's make you sound like a call center working guy. No, that's a basic telephone etiquette which a lot of us should use. We are not using it. Always check whenever you are calling Arun sir also, or whenever I get a call from Arun sir and anybody, any faculty members, anyone you don't know you are speaking to, the first thing you're going to do is hi sir, is it a good time to talk? Greet and check. That is important. Second thing, being on point. Now again, this doesn't apply when you're speaking to your BFF or BA. Definitely doesn't apply there. But when you are in a professional setup, when you're speaking to somebody who are you going to work with, your vendor, your manager, anyone, be on point. Be crisp and clear, just like your emails. Closure. A lot of us are finding it difficult, especially this is the problem with Indians. How do we close it? Ha, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Just record how many times are you saying thank you when you are, keeping a call down. That is a big issue. How do you do it? Keep it simple. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Have a good day. Bye. Tuck. Don't wait for the other person to say, ha, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Ha, sir. I have met people like this in the corporate setup also. And it's very difficult to hang up the phone like this. It's very funny, actually. Meeting etiquettes, again, mistakes which I have made. This point is something which a lot of us are not taught about or discussed about in the college because college is group discussion. Friends है, group studies करनी है, group discussion करना है, कहाँ जाना है, Marines जाना है, Vanson जाना है. It's that easy. Meeting etiquettes is important because here you are in a formal setup. Being on time never goes out of style. Keep that in mind. Always be on time. Always carry a notepad. Irrespective of whether you're going to note anything or not, doesn't matter. Carry a notepad and pen. It's not going to make you small as a human. I know all have smartphones. You can make notes in your phone, but it looks unprofessional. I know you feel that, अरे कौन देगा notes ऐसा pen and paper पे? Like, it looks unprofessional when you start taking notes on your phone. Don't do that. It sounds cool. It looks convenient, but it's not. Don't do it. Third thing, wait for your turn to speak. I believe all of you are very good enough in that because from so long I've been speaking and whenever I've given an open space, you guys have asked me questions. So you already understand the concept of wait for your turn to speak. It's pretty good. Very important when it comes to meeting etiquettes. Office party etiquettes. Corporates love to do this thing, is something called, celebrate quarterly. They will celebrate their annual results or anything. They love to celebrate. And what the celebration means? It would be dinner followed by some drinks. And a lot of people do this mistake is, are free beer, free drinks. Don't do that. Don't do that. Trust me. That is the entire concept of understanding you as, out of your bubble. Like, who is Sunny apart from work? What is the other side of Sunny? That is just a part of, forming a perception, gaining more information about something. So he pretends to be a very professional and a very serious guy, but after drinking, who he is, he's dancing on, Garmi song in front of a dance floor. What impression are you trying to create? You're contradicting your own statement which you are making. You're contradicting your own perception which you are making. So whenever you're getting drinks in free or free beer in your corporate party, you should know that you are in trouble and you should control yourself at that time, right? This is again, office party etiquettes are not going to be there anywhere in the book. Personal experience. That's the reason I'm sharing this. Okay, I've seen people doing this. Just to be clear in this point. Keep these things in mind. Very simple. I've kept it very simple. Again, these are like the pro tips from my end, which you can keep in mind. Always remember you are being observed every single day, every single minute of your office. Either one of the person is going to, one or the other person is going to observe you. They're keeping an eye on you. Be careful on that front. Situational perceptions. Again, this is a problem which a lot of us might have faced. Uh, you know, you might have been you've been working very hard for the entire day. But at the end of the day, when you're sitting and playing PUBG in your office cubicle and your boss walks out and he sees you doing that, he knows that, the perception which he's going to create is, ये तो पूरा दिन गेम खेल रहा था, काम ही नहीं किया इसने, right? Situational perception is very, very important. So that's the reason sticking to, what is important in your office is very, very keen, very, very actually very important at that point. I've seen, like, it is something which I've seen in front of my eyes, where, a person is reading a book. Reading a book is not a bad thing, right? But I've seen in the discussions, in the personal performance appraisal discussions, or maybe the time when it comes where you have to promote somebody, that person is just dropped just because he or she was reading the book in the office time. Just imagine how harmful reading a book can be. The same, right? How you treat others also important. Now again, all of you might have seen Lagero Munna Bhai, where he talks about Gandhigiri, and there's a scene where Gandhiji itself gave the statement that, how you treat people who are lower, in a lower rank than what you are, actually shows who you are as a person. Right? That applies in the corporate world too. Trust me, the people who are at that position have been in the company more than your age, knows more about the company, and the least you can do is to respect them. That's it. Avoid these 7 deadly sins. I would say 7 deadly sins of communication. Again, I've covered all the negative parts. Again, if you can avoid at least 3 of it, it will actually help you survive in the corporate world. Right? Just keep in mind, when I talk about gossips, just keep in mind the person who's going to speak to you, who's speaking to you about a third person, is going to do the same thing with you as well. He'll be speaking to the third person about you. So just keep that in mind. Right? It's very easy. Negativity spreads very easily. If one person is demotivated, he will make sure the entire team is demotivated. So even if there's something good is happening, he or she will, make sure that you feel that this is not good. Don't get into that trap. And more importantly, don't be that person. So stop complaining. If you don't like the job, leave the job. Nobody has asked you to stay here. Leave it. Put down your paper, leave. Simple as that. If you're not happy, leave. But don't complain. That's the basic idea, right? Friends versus colleagues. Again, one very, very, very important mistake. One important point from the experience I'm talking about. You don't make friends in corporate world. You make colleagues. These are your colleagues, whatever you call it, doesn't matter. These are not friends. That's what matters. Keep that in mind. being professional. They might be very funny, very entertaining. You would love to spend time with them, but they're not your friends. Keep that in mind. Right? Again, there would be few exceptions who are very close to you and all this thing, who will understand, who are in touch with you. Excuse me, even when you have left the organization, right? But still, there's a difference between friends and colleague, and you will realize it once you start working in the corporate world. But don't make that mistake. When you come to the college life, you see new faces. All of you are starting fresh. You make friends. When you enter the corporate world, there are people who are already working way before you joined or you came. They were existing even before you joined that team. So they have their own bubble, they have their own ego, and they would not like to break that thing up for anyone. So don't even try to touch that. Right? I'm trying to give you a very subtle image of the corporate world. I don't want to give you shockers in your first year of your college, right? Nevertheless, 4 points, 4 cornerstones of corporate behaviors can be honesty, be honest, be authentic, be genuine in your approach. Integrity matters the most. What do you mean by integrity? Is being doing the right thing when no one is even when no one is watching, right? Fourth thing is love. One very important point which I need to cover here is this generation, the our generation is actually we feel that being sarcastic means that you are very smart, you're very funny. It's not the case, right? All of us love Chandler, majority of us at least, but that's not the case in real life, right? Treat people with respect and love. That's the least which you can do. That's what is important. I have rejected a lot of candidates who try to be sarcastic during the interview. Within first 5 minutes they're out. So during the interview process or during the corporate behavior, keep this in mind. Sarcastic with friends, good, you're funny, you're Chandler. Sarcastic with your office colleagues, not gonna help, right? So that's it from my end. Now I have a small activity with you guys, and I would really appreciate some people to come forward and volunteer for something like this, or maybe share your inputs, guys. Again, this is a point where where I learn from you and you learn from me. It's going to be a two-way thing. Maybe I will learn something new or not something very interesting, right? And you might something learn some. You also might learn something interesting, or I would say helpful actually, right? I'm going to give you case studies here. This is your first case study. Take 30 seconds of your time, right? Take 30 to 40 seconds of your time. Understand what this means, and then tell me how are you going to prepare yourself. And we will have a small mock interview as well, where I will interview you. I will be asking you certain questions, and you will have to respond to that, and we'll see how it goes. Right? Are you up for it? Okay.
Okay, sir.
That's great. That's great. Chalo. So 30 seconds, right? Take your time, understand this is a job. This is a camp. This we are talking about the campus placement. The company has come to your campus for an HR executive role. Job location is going to be in Bangalore. 3 years of service agreement. How will you prepare yourself for this interview? And whenever you're ready, just we'll take 10 more seconds and then we will start. Okay. So, any thoughts on this? Anyone who wants to go first?
Guys, participate. Just a role play, and nobody is judging you. So please participate.
Guys, again, you are in your first year. This is not your final, interview thing. I have been interviewing freshers from last 5.5 years. I know few things which actually can help you. Right. So don't be scared. This is more like your self evaluation which you are doing, and your friends are watching you. So that can be a little bit a point of nervousness, but don't be. Anyone who wants to go first, or should I just go back to the teams and select a name randomly and we'll start?
Hello, sir. Abhishek this side.
Abhishek, hi. Abhishek, you are from, which stream? I was told there are two streams
I
here.
was in BFM, Bachelor in Financial Markets.
That's great, Abhishek. Yeah. So, can you
Sir,
tell me how will you prepare for this?
just a second, sir. Correct.
Yep.
Hello, sir.
Hi. I'm
Okay.
able to hear you.
Uh, so the company will be hiring the person for HR executive. HR is a human resource. They have a front desk job. Means their main
Hmm.
purpose is to talk to the people, and
Hmm.
most of the HR takes interviews and help to the person who are at the front one.
What is the first thing you're going to do when you know about this company is going to come to your campus?
Sir,
First
first
thing.
of all, I will know about the company, like what does the company do and what is the profile of the company.
Perfect. Okay. Second thing, how are you going to, what is that you're going to mention in your resumes? In your resume, actually, not your resumes. In your
Uh,
resume, what do you think will be your highlight?
Sir, according to the job, what is the thing required? So, for as the job is HR executive, so I will mention about my communication skills.
Perfect. Only communication skills?
No, I will mention other two, but my main highlight will be the communication skills and approaching people
Perfect. So basically, your resume, you would like to
on point.
present yourself as a people's person, basically, for this job.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. So you ready for the interview? We'll start this
Yeah.
interview now. I have got your resume. I've got to know that you are a people's person. Abhishek, Abhishek, right? I'm
Yes.
sorry. I'm
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir, Abhishek.
Abhishek, why don't you give me a brief about yourself? Why don't you take me through your resume once?
Sure, sir. My name is Abhishek, and my key skills are communication. My other key skill is perseverance. I am determined. I like to talk. I like to ask people questions. I like to get engaged with people.
Okay. As you are the first candidate, I would give you the leeway that if this is your introduction, I think you need to work on it, right? Anyways, moving on to the point. So you mentioned that you like to work with, people. You are a people's person. Your communication is good.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, is somebody else speaking? I would request all of friends. Okay, it's my voice which is echoing back. Anyways, okay. So Abhishek, you mentioned you are a people's person. Why would you say that? What is that you have done that indicates that you are a people's person?
Yes, sir. I would like to mention I have been a part of a cultural forum. There was an event back 2 weeks back in Ara. I've been
Okay.
a person. I've been the leading rules and regulations committee, which was a committee formed. Second
Okay.
thing, I have been the coordinator of the whole committee. Yeah. So this is my
Oh,
experience, and as well as I'm the ACL for the event, Shout 21, which is Assistant Contingent Leader.
I understand ACL. Nevertheless,
Yes, sir.
uh, okay, that's pretty interesting. You have handled some positions of utmost responsibility, I would say. So here, while you were handling this, there is a possibility that you had to work with a lot of people as you were
Yes, sir.
handling that position. You might have got into a lot of conflicts as well, right? So has it has ever happened with you while you are in a session or when you are discussing a particular plan with your team members,
Mhm.
uh, somebody disagreed with you and has raised some concerns. Has something like this ever happened to you?
Yeah, some things happened, but eventually, when I explained my point, they got into things that okay means that things was accepted. Those things
Wait,
were accepted.
can you give me a more detailed example of this? What exactly might have happened? Again, it's a
Yes.
hypothetical. Yeah.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Okay, so there was a activity we named Twirling Shastra, which is you take one kind of music and completely other dance form with that. Means like you take Bollywood music, you dance on Kathak. You take some South Indian music, you dance some Spanish dance, etc. So yeah,
Got
two or three people actually opposed. So when I explained that this would be fun, and when I actually showed them the videos at what it actually looked like,
So yeah, eventually some of them agreed. Means three people were actually who disagreed, but two of them agreed.
Okay, so you didn't bother to convince the last person,
Yeah, I did try my best, but
but he was not convinced, so it's okay. We don't care about your opinion. Is that the attitude which you are trying to say? Is that the message which you are sending to your team members?
no, actually, but we were actually five to seven of them, and most of them agreed, except that one person.
Okay, so you went with the majority. That's great. Now, Abhishek, you mentioned that you come from Bachelor's of Finance Management,
Yes.
BFM. Um, but you are applying for a job in HR.
Hmm.
Why?
Sir, as I mentioned, I like to lead the team and I like to communicate with people. So yeah, I think the HR is the good opportunity for me.
And then why didn't you choose this? Why did you choose a BFM in the first place then?
Good question, sir. I chose BFM for the interest in financial markets, and now I would like to shift to HR.
Okay. Okay. Have you done some, do you know a little bit about HR? Because I believe financial markets is strictly about financial markets. Have you gone through do you understand the concepts in terms of HR?
Yes, sir. I understand a little bit. I have read some of the things on Twitter, and yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Abhishek.
Thank you so much.
That's it. That's
Have a
it from
great
my
day.
end, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Guys, if you are sitting at your home, if we can give a round of claps for Abhishek or something, we can do that. Like,
Yes, he really deserves an applause. He had the guts to
you,
speak in front of
yeah,
200 plus people.
great. Absolutely well. So, guys, anybody who would like to point out few things which Abhishek might have done good or done bad before I give my statement?
So I may be wrong, but the good point that I want to point out about Abhishek, by the I'm there,
Hmm.
is
Yeah.
that he dodged each and every question. He didn't stuck up or paused at a second thinking that I should skip this question. He was, although
Okay.
you asked him a question that why, if he's from BFM, why he's applying for HR executive post. So
Correct.
even at that question, he had an answer ready. Like he wasn't blank about the how to answer the question. Yeah, that's a good point. That even if a question that comes out of his way, he was able to answer it in a quite well way.
Got the gist of it.
Yeah.
Perfect. So this was the question he was not expecting, but still he was able to answer it immediately or maybe give the first response, right? Overall, Abhishek would have been a select. I didn't go much in detail about a genuine interview because this was the first interview. We have few more case studies we'll be going through. Nevertheless, Abhishek, you were really good in this, honestly speaking, right? You took certain pause, and because I understand this was completely a hypothetical situation, you did it well. One thing which I emphasized upon during the session as well, that you have to always give your answers in the star model. Keep that in mind. Whenever there is a situational question, you will straight away go to star model. Don't think anything else. When I asked you that, have you worked in team, can have you got into any conflicts, can you share an example, you should have started with, yeah, there was one situation like this and we wanted to do this, I did this and this was the result, which you did after I highlighted it to you. So it was, that's okay. But again, if that would have been the first case, it would have created a very strong first impression to the recruiter, right? So you've
Yes,
done
I'll keep
overall
that in
really
mind.
well, really well. You again, I understand it was very extempo, so you were not able to prepare for about yourself. That how do you give your justification about yourself? You may have to work a little bit on that. Give a story, guys. Guys, understand this thing. Recruitment, a traditional interview is always about storytelling. It's always about how you are starting the story and how you're ending it. It should always be interlinked. Should always be connected. Keep that in mind. Okay. So now this is the second question. Now this is something related to social media. We are running out of time, I guess. Arun sir, we have already crossed 1 hour 20 minutes. We have 10 more minutes.
Yeah, sir.
So
Yeah, Sunny, you
quickly,
can take 10 more minutes.
sir, 10 more minutes for that. That would be more than enough now. Someone from Fairtel Telecom has posted a job on LinkedIn. How will you go about it? What is that you're going to be approached? Here we may not get into interview, but I just need to understand how do you go about getting this job, at least a short call for the interview. Anyone?
Hello, sir.
Hi, who's this?
It's Ashwin here.
Ashwin, hi, good morning. Please tell me,
Yeah.
what will you do here?
Yeah, so basically on LinkedIn, I had seen some of the job postings, like how, also I listened various persons, how we approach on LinkedIn about a job posting. So
Perfect.
firstly, if I want to apply on LinkedIn, LinkedIn gives us a very unique opportunity to connect with the persons on their companies. Like various persons have their profiles on their companies, the associates or managers and all that. So before applying to that company, firstly, I would love to connect with those people and understand a little bit about the culture of the company, like how it works, and what are the exact and probable roles and responsibilities. If I'm applying for an internship, I will say I would ask about what are the roles and responsibilities of an intern, or if I want to apply for an executive or that post, I would love to have a connection with them and a little bit conversation with them before applying. And later if that if connection goes well, I would then apply it officially on their job posting. And eventually if things go well, and like you have previously mentioned that in hiring, referral matters a lot. So probably this would matter a lot when I'm giving an interview or something like that.
Okay, your name is Ashwin, right?
Yeah.
Ashwin, you are in which year of your which stream, which year? If you can give me an idea.
I'm in first year, BBA honors.
BBA honors. Ashwin, this is really great that you are already on LinkedIn. You have seen some job posting, but again, certain tips which can, for you as well as for the other people. Don't wait for other, to connect. You mentioned one very important line that before applying for the job, I will look out for the people who are working there and try to get the idea about the culture of the company. My question is, why can't you do that while you apply for the job? Click on apply job and then look for the people. Why can't you do this afterwards? Is the big question.
Yeah.
Because here now understand how the LinkedIn works, how this thing works actually. On LinkedIn, you are not competing with people only from SK Soumya College or not from Mumbai or not, it's a global platform, right? And if the position is open for Mumbai location, there are going to be people who are going to apply from Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Pune also, and maybe from Gurgaon. Anywhere from India they can apply, right? So a recruiter will already have 200 job posting, 200 resumes in front of him or her if it's a good and reputed company, to go through and to screen. Basically, that's called screening, where you eliminate people who are not relevant. So that itself is a very time consuming activity, and sometimes it may take few days, couple of days, or it may go on till a week's time as well. So how do you make sure that you apply on time, right? It's basically first in FIFO is the concept, first in first out kind of a concept. So you apply first, your resume is reflecting there first, and if you're selecting going forward, you will be getting that. If you're rejecting, you're going to get rejected right there. So that is the concept which gets applied here. So my advice would be, first apply for the job. Don't even think about it. You are a fresher. You will have to adapt or apply for any single job. See, this is again a thing which you need to understand. If you are having 10 multiple opportunities, apply for all 10. You may get interview call from from two of them only, but at least apply for all 10 of them. Don't, like, you should not be at, if you are thinking, not specifically you, if all of you are thinking that I have applied for a job on LinkedIn, one job, and I'm sure wahan pe ho jayega. You are giving your level 1 interviews there, and you are all high hopes that wahan ho jayega, and you are not looking out anywhere. You are doing the biggest mistake you could do.
Yes.
Right? Having multiple offers gives the power back to the candidate. As a recruiter, we hate it. Trust me, because if you have multiple offers in your hand, you're going to come back and negotiate that this company is offering me more, that company is offering me my location. Why can't you do this? If you can't provide me this, I'm not going to join you. It's a task for a recruiter, but I'm here to help you. So that's the reason I'm telling you, having multiple offers can be put you in a position where you can negotiate really well. So first important thing is, if you get a job, you feel that it's relevant for you and you're interested, apply for the job. Then look for it that whether the company is good enough or not. Give the interview and then say that you don't want to join. It's your call. Giving an interview doesn't mean that you will have to join that company. No. Nobody's going to make you sign the service agreement before the interview. That's not going to happen. It's going to happen on the day of your joining. So even on the day of your joining, if you don't appear, that's okay. It's your decision, your career. It's not an acceptable practice. It's very unprofessional. But again, at the end, if you feel that this is not the right thing for you, you will definitely have to opt out. You will have to do that. And the professional way of doing it is to inform the recruiter that, sorry, I'm really not interested in this profile anymore. I'm not keen into this and I will not be going ahead with this. Is the professional way of doing it. Simple.
Yes, right.
Right? Second thing you mentioned about referrals. Yes, referrals help when you have applied for the job. So just imagine I'm the recruiter. Ashwin's resume I have received from LinkedIn and I'm just going through it. Meanwhile, when I open my mailbox, I have 3 different people from the same company, from my company, referring the same candidate. इसमें भी अश्विन का प्रोफाइल है, इसमें भी अश्विन का प्रोफाइल है, इसमें भी अश्विन का प्रोफाइल है, सब अश्विन को रेफर कर रहा है. कुछ तो होगी इसमें बात, मतलब ये बंदा जेन्युइन है. He is genuinely interested. Pick up that profile, send for screening, and maybe the interview is scheduled. That's how referral works a lot of time. So if you feel that referral only works, when there is job is not there on LinkedIn, but still, that's not the case. Referral is actually sometimes backing your own application where you have applied for. So that's the nitty-gritty. That's the practical how talent acquisition, how recruitment works, right? A lot of people will not tell you this. This is a very important thing which you need to know. Our third case study. Ashwin, thank you so much. A little claps for him. Good, Ashwin.
Sir, there was
Yeah.
one doubt I want to ask you on the earlier session, but means earlier time. But there was one doubt
Yes,
that
please.
you mentioned the exploring about LinkedIn. So I have been exploring this platform quite a few days. Means from earlier month, I'm exploring this platform a lot, and there are various people telling that leverage the power of LinkedIn, like communicate with people and engage more on LinkedIn. So I understand that, but I have quite a couple of connections with some of the marketing managers and a couple of VPs in some of firms. So, but I'm confused at how I can engage with them. Like, what all things can I do to
The same
engage
thing
with
which
them
you're
and-
doing with me. You ask them questions. I'll tell you what needs to be done here. You can do this. You can give it a try. It may work. It may not work. Again, LinkedIn is a very experimental platform where you can do experiments. Right. Again, it's a very vast topic. We have some time constraints, so I will keep it short. Try reaching out to them. Tell them you are in your college first year. You are doing this particular course, and you are seeking for somebody to mentor you in this particular field. I have certain doubts. I will need your guidance to understand how this market works. Can you do that? Draft a very beautiful message, send it to hundreds of people. I'm sure 5 of them will respond.
Yeah.
Because the VP is the position which they are, it's a highly demanding job. They will have to focus a lot on their job, and a lot of people, many times they don't have this opportunity to to do this mentorship.
Yeah, right.
Reach out to them, drop them a message, and see how it goes. Follow them on LinkedIn. They post a lot about HR practices, they post a lot about marketing. Connect with recruiters as well, because connecting with marketing managers, connecting with VP can help you understand how the practical market functions, but connecting with recruiters can help you get a job in that particular field. So it's equally important. I'm not saying either one is less important. No, it's equally important. So connect with the recruiters from that company itself, from the company you are targeting, right?
Yeah. It's
I hope this answers in a nutshell. I'm sorry, we
yeah.
have to keep it short. Ashwin,
Yes,
anything
thank
else?
you. No, sir, no, it's okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So, guys, this is the third scenario we have in front of ourselves, and who wants to give it a try? You're seeing
So Manav here.
Hi, Manav.
Yes. So first of all, sir, I would like to know more about the company. As my senior is working there, I would be more comfortable if I get in touch with him and know about the company more. And as it is a fresher's job, so I don't need to have more concern about the experience and stuff, as it is my first year in the corporate world as a professional.
Okay.
Sir, as LinkedIn and our social media sites are available right now, sir, I would go and look for the company or the senior if he is there as the email .soma@edu.com, somewhere it is. It lets us know that if someone from our email ID is there, from our educational email ID is there working in that company or not. If it is, I'll get in touch with them. I'll know about the company, how it is, because if I get more opportunities after the freshers thing, I can get as a perfect job over there too.
Perfect. Manav,
Yes, sir.
you have done all that. You are sitting in front of your interviewer, and your interviewer is going to ask you one particular question, and that's one question only because we have already been doing this interview from the last 15 minutes. Okay, I just want to understand what would be your reaction here. Okay, be quick and answer me quickly. So, Manav, what has happened is just imagine that you have already joined the company, the team. You have joined my company, and four people who report to me, and you are one of those, right? I call you up on a Sunday morning. I ask you,
Okay.
like, let's do this role play. Okay. Hello. Hi, Manav. How are you doing?
Okay. Hello, sir. I'm good.
I'm
What
your
about you,
manager.
sir?
Keep that in mind. So, yeah,
Okay.
I'm good. Manav, I'm sorry I'm bothering you on a weekend, but I'm actually, I'm taking an urgent flight traveling to UK for a client meeting. You remember that report which we were working on last evening?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir.
Yeah. See, there are some tweaks in that. There has been change in some data. So I would want you to send me the updated file. Can you do that?
Sure, sir. You can just
Right.
email me.
See,
I'll work on that.
just check with. Yeah, I will send you this. I'm just boarding the flight right now. I'm counting on you. I hope you give me the data on time. Just connect with the other three people, get the data, and send it to me. Okay.
Okay, sir. For sure, sir. So
Sure.
can you tell
Thank.
me from what deadline you could give me for this? If I could complete
By
it by
tomorrow morning.
Monday evening,
No, tomorrow
as
morning. Till the time my
so tomorrow morning.
flight lands, I want the data. I want that file or report in my mail. Right. So do it quickly. You will have to work on a Sunday. I'm really sorry, but this is very important deal for us.
Okay, sir. I'll
Okay.
absolutely do it, sir. No worries.
Great. Manav, so you have already spoken to your manager, you got the sense of it. Now you call your three team members, right? Because you
Yes.
have to take data from them to make it presentable, right? So you're calling the first person. I'm your first colleague. Please give me a call.
Okay, so hello. Is this Sunny over here?
Hey, Manav. Hi. I'm sorry, I can't talk. There has been death in my family. Can I call you back as soon as I get free?
Actually, it is
Sure.
a
I
very
will call you back. I will call you back. Okay. Done.
okay.
First person gone. The second person, let's call him.
Okay. Hello. Is this Sunny here?
Ha, Manav, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, of course I can. I can. So
हाँ बोलो बोलो क्या हुआ?
the manager just called me right now, and he was like, there are some
अरे
tweaks in
तू
the
संडे को
report,
काम कर
and
रहा है, तू संडे को काम कर रहा है मानो. अरे मैं ट्रैकिंग पे आया हूँ यार, मैं पहाड़ पे हूँ, मैं कनेक्शन वीक है. हेलो हेलो.
hello,
Disconnect.
yeah, disconnected. Okay, next third person,
Manav, this is
last.
thank you. I think a lot of us and even you got the gist of what I'm trying to say here. This is
Yes,
a
yes.
very classic situation which a lot of us face in the corporate world that, if a manager is asking me to do something, I will have to say yes. Right. You understood the point. I created a sense of urgency where you cannot even think about anything else, but your first response is, "हाँ sir, हो जाएगा." Now, when you cannot call your manager and say that the report will not be there on time because he's already boarded the flight and he's counting on you because he's going to have a sales pitch, you are in big soup now, right? This
Yes.
is a very important lesson which you and every one of you have learned here, that it's very important to understand, the concept of dependency, that you're working in a
Okay.
team, your work is dependent on others, right? And unless or until, while speaking to the manager, instead of giving a blind commitment that, हाँ sir, हाँ भेज दूंगा sir, Monday तक हो जाएगा, it will be done. Instead of giving that blind commitment, if I would have just mentioned, you would have mentioned just one straight line that sir वो डेटा उन तीनों से लेना है, अगर वो लोग अवेलेबल रहेंगे तो मैं पक्का आपको ये डेटा दे दूंगा, अगर नहीं होंगे तो मैं मंडे शाम तक या मंडे दोपहर तक तो दे ही दूंगा. Then this is a disclaimer which you are putting. So it's just that you're passing the blame very clearly, saying that अगर वो तीनों अवेलेबल है तो मैं आपको डेटा दे सकता हूँ, अगर नहीं है तो I cannot do anything. This is the concept of dependency which I wanted to make it very clear for all of you. Learn it at very early, at as early as possible, because this is the mistake which a lot of us do. Right? We say yes to certain things which on which we don't have control to. control on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Manav. A round of applause for him,
Okay.
guys.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Guys, this is the fourth and the last scenario, and after this we are done. Right? I have actually exceeded the time limit which was given to me. I'm really sorry, sir, but I this practical experiences is actually going to help the students, I believe.
It's okay,
Uh,
Sunny. Go ahead. No problem.
Thank you so much, sir. So, guys, this is the fourth very simple problem statement. Go through it. If you can read it thoroughly, you will understand what exactly this thing is. Now, I don't have much time to get into the role play, so I will just give you a very clear idea. This is an absolute fake or a scam. Don't get into it. This is how a scam message will look like. This is how a recruiter or a person who's a con artist will actually reach out to you. First thing, if you will notice the name of the company which I work with, Capgemini, the spelling is wrong. Right? These kind of mistakes are the thing which these people of con artists they do to avoid any legal challenges. Keep this in mind. Taking company, paying somebody first even before the interview or getting a job, not going to happen. This is how phishing, or not phishing is not the right term for this, but this is how a lot of students suffer across India. I'm not saying this is a specific case. I've seen people suffering like this. I've seen people walking up to the organization with a fake offer letter saying that I've paid 20 lakh, 20,000 for this thing just to get a job. See, this is my offer letter. And in the first glance, you can say the logo of the company is wrong, the spelling of the company is wrong, and there are 10 spelling mistakes on the front page itself of the offer letter. And the candidate is, it's shaken to the ground because these people come from very poor background or not so very sound background, and when they do this, if they see that investing 20,000 can get them a job, they do that, they take it up instead of believing in themselves, and that's how they suffer. So just be aware. And through this platform, I wanted to convey this to all of you that be careful of this thing. Be very, very careful of this thing. Yeah. I'm sure you guys are very smart enough to understand this. There are 5 things which I'm going to tell you right now, which you can change. I don't have to tell you. These are self-explanatory 5 things which you need to work on, right? And with that, I would call it a day. Just understand this. Create your account on LinkedIn. Know what Internshala is. Know what firstnaukri.com is. Go through it. Understand that. Right? It will help you a lot. LinkedIn is a very strong, very, very huge platform. You have a lot of videos on YouTube as well to understand how LinkedIn functions, how you can make good connects. You can follow some interesting people there and understand what needs to be done there, right? How you build connects, how you build your networks. You never know where this person is going to help you. Trust me. Be active in extracurricular activities. That's what that as we have already covered, that makes you stand out. Again, the certification is the same point that makes you stand out. Do it. I'm going to drop a message in the chat room itself which gives you an idea about which are the courses I'm talking about. Go through it. These are some very basic courses, right? Work on your verbal and non-verbal communication skills. Very important. Very, very important. I realized the importance of this when I was in college. Trust me, nobody was speaking in English to me. The entire group used to speak in the same simple language, either Hindi or Gujarati or Marathi. These are the languages we used to opt for. The importance of English is something I realized after I got into the first job. Very important. Trust me. Savings and investments, guys. All of you, I can give you a small recommendation. There is an app called Grow, GROW, right? Double times W, whatever you call it. Grow app is actually I'm not promoting it. I am personally using it, and I feel that if you want to invest something and you're not sure about how to create a Demat account or something, go download the Grow app, create an account there. If you save 10 rupees per day, you can save at least 1,500 or a good amount of money, I guess, in 3 months, in a month, and in a semester even more. So just try doing that. Start investing as early as possible because you have to learn a lot about that, right? So I am, again, it's a very vast topic. I'm not getting much into it, but I'm sure a lot of you might have already been understood, following this thing. They want to invest. They want to understand how the market works. If you're not doing it, please do it now. It's very important. Guys, this is my personal email ID and my phone number. I would request you to, if you can note it down yourself, any given point of time of your career, if you feel that you are stuck somewhere, you need some advice, you need some help in some recommendation or some idea about how to go about a particular situation or problem, feel free to reach out to me. Again, guys, I expect you to be professionals, not students. So calling me at 11:30 in the night and asking me, sir, ki kal red tie pen or blue tie, you will hear some really interesting things from my end. So don't try that, right? Don't try my patience there. But if you genuinely need help, this is the email ID and phone number. You can reach out to me always, or you can reach out to Arun sir. He can connect you with me. Either way, things are going to. I would be more than happy to help you. On that note, thank you so much, guys, for your patience. I hope you have enjoyed the session. If you have any questions right now, I would like to take them.
So,
Yeah.
for the first case study, can we add points like he was from BFM and you are applying for HR role? So we can add points like being versatile is one of the most important characteristics which is needed in the organization nowadays, and it will be an additional knowledge and additional asset to the organization, which can be vital in roles like financial scheduling and financial planning
You
or
definitely
project.
can. You definitely can do that, right? Uh, Here, see, the thing is, when you pretend that when you're selling yourself, don't oversell yourself. Here, you have to say that when I took BFM, at that moment of time, when I was standing on a crossroad after 12th, finance was my area of interest. But slowly and steadily, when I started, coming to the college, interacting with people, I realized how good I am with people, how good I am with managing people and in doing things, in interacting with people, how good my communication is. So that's when I developed my interest towards people, towards people management and towards the human resource side of it. And that's where I feel I will be a good fit for this organization, because I have a, as you mentioned very correctly, I have a good flavor of finance, as well as my interest or passion is towards the human resource. Right? Trust me, guys, this is the same answer which I gave in my interview in 2015. I was from banking and insurance, BBI. I was appearing for a role in HR. So this was the same question asked to me, and this was the same answer which I gave. Right? Second thing,
You have
how
to diversify the answer. Like diversifying is the key.
it's your style. It's again, it's not, it's see, again, there's no definite, it's not maths, it's not science. You don't have a definite answer to it. It's your style. How do you want to pretend it? It's, you're presenting yourself. You are different than who I am. So yes, diversifying can work for you. Saying that I have realized it now works for me. So you understanding the point that you are a different as a
Okay,
person, I'm different as a person. You can put it that way as well. So it's your style, but be confident about your style. That's what is important.
thank you.
Okay,
Guys,
Sunny,
anything
I think
else?
I should. Yeah, I think we are running short of time, and I have one more session
Yeah.
with BFM guys at 10 o'clock, and we should call the session. So let me propose a formal vote of thanks. So, in the first place, let me thank Sunny Thakkar from the bottom of my heart for giving this wonderful presentation and sharing his insights. So normally to all my BBA students whom I'm teaching business communication, I told them to watch Cubicles, which is a web series by the Viral Fever, which has 7 episodes. And whenever you talk to HR guy, you get a very cold response, and they're not that warm. But in fact, Sunny is not like that. In fact, he is highly approachable. And trust me, I have met many HR guys, and I find them that they're very very cold, and their job is basically to firefight. And they, even if there is no fire, they burn everything and they try to fight it. So that's why the role of HR is like a firefighter. So thank you, Sunny, for this wonderful insights, and I'm sure that all these guys who are going to follow your advice, they're going to end up doing something very very great. Let me share you some more insights. I was happened to teach all this executive MBA program at KJ Soma Institute of Management Studies and Research, and what I found that most of my students, they were from a diverse background, from pharma, from IT, from FMCG, and diverse people, and most of them in their mid 30s
Right.
and late 20s. And what I found about them, and many people came to me and they started talking that, sir, we are experiencing a lot of monotony in the corporate life. So and maybe when the time comes for the performance appraisal, no matter, even if we put our best, we are not that much evaluated, and the chances of promotion are too low. So that's the biggest dilemma in the corporate world, particularly for middle level people, or for people who are in the middle age bracket. So Normally, I usually tell them be on your own and don't try to impress anyone and just do what you're doing it. And as rightly said by Sunny, that don't complain if you're not interested. Put your papers and go away, find yourself. So Sunny, thank you so much for this wonderful insights. I can take the time 8 years back and I can tell you a lot about Sunny. 2012, he came to college and he had a strong leadership quality in him. I immediately appointed him as the CR of the class, and after taking the CR of the class, he had a big group in the class. They all worked in a tandem. They bunked a lot of lectures and they troubled me a lot. Okay, so so other things apart, so he was part of a cultural forum. He was the joint secretary of the college, a very busy person at that point in time. And in his final years, when he was in 2015, so 2015 he got a job with Wipro and he immediately left Mumbai, went to Bangalore, worked with IIT people and IITians and with engineers and all, and now he has altogether very different personality. The Sunny that I see has slightly changed, not a bit too much he has changed. So with this note, Sunny, I wish you all the best for your future
Thank
career,
you.
and I hope that you will spare your valuable time in future as well for our students.
I would love
So
to, sir.
yeah, and secondly, I want to thank your course coordinator, Dr. Aparna Jain. She also didn't give me a second thought when I gave her a call that I want Sunny to be taking a guest session for my students so that our students go beyond textbook and see what the real world is all about, how the corporate world is all about. So I'm grateful to the course coordinator. Lastly, I thank all my students. Fortunately, BFM is also able to join because some of their lectures were cancelled. They were not part of today's session. So I would like to thank BBA students, BBM students, BFM students, and all those students who are from outside who are part of this virtual session by Mr. Sunny. Thank you so much for your patience, and you have been a wonderful audience to me and to the
True.
resource person. So with this note, I say goodbye to each one of you and hope to see you in future. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your kind
Thank
words.
We'll,
you.
we'll, we'll call the session. Aparna ma'am, few words from your side.
Yes. Thank you, Arun. Thank you. Actually, I should start with that. Thank you, Arun, for initiating this idea of the lecture, actually, because, and extending your entire support throughout the lecture. And I would really like to thank Sunny, because he has made this session very interesting, very informative. It was like an interactive session. Excellent presentation, Sunny. You have appraised the
Thank you.
students with your insights, actually, and the way you have explained, it was very exemplary. So that's really
Thank you.
good on your part. And thank you all the students for making a wonderful participant and turning out in great numbers. Thank you so much, everyone.
Sure.
Thank you, Sunny.
So we
Thank
are
you so
calling
much.
this session.
Thank you.
We are calling this session.
Thank you. Good day.